Okay, today should be the last day of installation of all these parts. Perrin intake showed up, so I'm going to unbox that, go through everything there, and we'll get that on the car, get the front bumper back on, and we'll get out and go for a test drive. So the Perrin intake is one of the few intakes on the market for this car that's actually C.A.R.B approved. So when you get it, you get this wonderful sticker. Let's see if it'll focus. If you're in California, this is really important to you. So it's really cool that they went through the process to C.A.R.B approve it. It also means that the item is relatively high quality. You can't make it through the C.A.R.B process if you have a piece of junk. So I think it's a blessing and a curse, the C.A.R.B process. So definitely makes for higher quality items. Just like the oil cooler, they give you the requisite license plate frame. Here. Nice mandrel bent, probably. Yeah, nice mandrel bent piece. And it is in the wrinkle red finish. Had to match that intake manifold, right? Now you'll notice there's a crush point. What is that for? That's to make it under the bumper support. You could argue that that maybe impedes on flow, but as a choke point, it may act as a velocity stack and actually accelerate the air. Hard to say, but the stock mass air meter bolts up. If you're running the stock tune, they say you don't need to mess with mass scaling. I'm not running the stock tune. We're on stage 2 or stage 2, or I'm sorry, the stage 2 plus tune, either with pump gas or E85. So I'll have to send some logs off to OpenFlash Performance to make sure the map scaling is correct. But pretty nice there. And then they do a foam filter. It's oiled. I'm not a fan of oiled filters, but I'll give it a try. The only bummer with this intake is it does require removing your bumper to change the air filter. So you don't have to do that often, but just something to keep in mind. If you don't want to mess with that, this might not be the intake for you, but it does utilize all of the factory ducting. So this is a true cold air intake, and you don't really have to worry about it ingesting water in its location either. If you're going through a puddle that deep, you have other problems. So let's get to installing it.
See that? We're gonna push this back.
Right.
And then that's what these are for.
Right. Yeah, they said ½ inch room. Actually, may have a note of that in here. They say, check clearance for map sensor harness with pulley. These should naturally rest in a position that is roughly ½ inch away from any moving parts.
I'm not gonna survive this. I'm gonna put a zip tie like that.
Yeah, it's probably.
I'm just trying to keep it from here.
Yeah.
Now it's away.
True. Very important to check your MAF clearance right here. We zip tied it away. There's a couple different ways you can route it, but you do not want that hitting the belts. Now we have ample clearance for the oil cooler lines, and you can see how this routes through. Very tight fitting up here. That filter is sticky with grease and oil. I'm not a fan of those oil filters. If I ever change it, I'll probably do a dry flow filter. I'll just have to figure out what matches the flow. All that's left is to apply that C.A.R.B sticker, and we are good to go. Everything's finished up. We've double checked all the oil lines. Nothing's leaking. We have Perrin intake installed. It's time just to reassemble, put some wheels on, and go for a test drive and try out the new brakes and see how this intake performs. I will be data logging the intake, like I said, and sending those logs back to OpenFlash Performance just to make sure the tune is all okay and there's no issues. I don't really expect it to need too much tweaking. It may lean it out a little bit, but all the dynographs do show that this is worth a little bit of horsepower, so I'll go back to the dyno at some point. We'll retest it since I have a baseline there, and I'll go from there. If you have any questions, leave a comment below, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Until next time, I'm Sean with the Driver's Perspective.